Joining Barney and Company on the phone right now, Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin. Mr. Secretary, there's new funding, this new deal for the Paycheck Protection Program. You say that this is the last wave of help for small business. Is it going to be enough?
Well, first of all, it's great to be with you, and I hope it is enough. So there's another $310 billion in the PPP program, and on top of that, there's going to be another $300 billion of idle disaster loans. So that's in excess of $600 billion that we're pumping into small businesses. And many of these companies may also be able to access the Fed's Main Street lending facility as well.
Will it be enough if we don't get back to work fairly quickly?
Well, I hope we are going to get back to work fairly quickly. And, you know, we're kind of operating under the environment that we are going to open up parts of the economy. And we're looking forward to, by the time we get later in the summer, having most of the economy, if not all of the economy, open.
So what can you do about there's been some trouble with the process here? Ruth's Chris getting a lot of money, Harvard getting money when they've got a $40 billion endowment, small restaurants not getting much, bigger chain restaurants getting quite a bit of money. Can you sort out the process and make it work more fluently?
Well, let me first just clarify the Harvard situation. I actually spoke to the president of Harvard already this morning. Harvard is not part of the PPP program. Harvard is part of the $30 billion program of Department of Education money. And I think Harvard is thinking seriously about whether it's appropriate for them to keep the money or give it to other institutions that need it. And then on the big companies that are borrowing under the PPP, I made it very clear yesterday at the president's press conference, and we'll be putting FAQs out today, that there is a certification that these companies need to make. And I think they need to look at it very carefully. I think a lot of these big companies, it's questionable whether they can make that certification. I think they should review it. If they pay the money back quickly, there'll be no liability to Treasury and the SBA. If they don't, they could be subject to investigation.
Are you happy with the performance of the big banks in getting this money out there? It seems like community banks have done a much better job.
Well, the community banks have done a great job, and even within the big banks, there's some of them that have done very well. There's others that have been a little bit slower. But I think particularly in this tranche, a lot of the big banks, while we've been shut down, have been underwriting, have been taking applications. And I think they're going to get the money out quickly as well. And again, the statistic of 1 million companies out there with 10 employees or less is really quite impressive.
And the money has gone out to 1 million small companies. Is that correct?
It's been approved. So in many cases, the money is out the door. In some of the cases, the banks are still in the process of sending that money out. But that's 1 million small businesses just there, 1.6 overall, 30 million workers impacted so far. And we expect it'll be another 30 million workers by the time we get done with this. So wow. Close to 50% of the private payroll.
But you don't consider this stimulus money. This is rescue money, correct?
Absolutely, and I just remind you, every dollar that goes out of this program is one less dollar in unemployment. So by putting people back to work, we get them off of unemployment and we get them back and ready for business.
Leader McConnell is worried about paying for all of this. Mounting debt is just building up by the trillion. How are we going to pay for this down the road?
Well, first of all, let me just say the good news is interest rates are very low. So the cost of carrying the debt to the American taxpayer is quite low. But I think we're all sensitive to that this is a war, and we need to win this war, and we need to spend what it takes to win the war. On the other hand, I think we are sensitive to the economic impacts of putting on debt, and that's something that the president is reviewing with us very carefully.
Mr. Secretary, just a few moments ago, we had on the show Senator Bill Cassidy, Republican Louisiana, and he's talking about a $500 billion bipartisan plan to help state and local governments. And Senator Schumer has been talking about a plan for $150 billion for state and local governments. What do you think to that? Another $500 billion out there?
Well, the president has spoken to a lot of the governors. He's had numerous video teleconferences. He's heard from both Republican governors and Democratic governors, and he's taking that into consideration. So what he said is, in the next bill, we will look at this. We will address this. He hasn't made any decisions in regards to the size or the amount. And as you know, this is not every single state is the same, but it's something that the president is reviewing carefully.
If you add it all up, the money that's coming from the Federal Reserve, the money that's coming from the Congress, I think we're looking at what, $6 or even $7 trillion in total that's going to be pumped out there in one form or another. Is that an accurate total, $7 trillion?
I think it's about $2.6 trillion in federal money, and we have the ability to lever that up, probably with up to another $4 trillion with the Federal Reserve if we used all the Federal Reserve facilities. So it's a lot of money, and that's why we are determined to support American workers and American business to get through this.
Okay, may I also ask you about the price of oil? We got it down to, what, $13, $14 a barrel for delivery in June. That's bankruptcy level for so many drillers. I'm not sure that you can do much about that price, bearing in mind that it's the result of the world oil glut, which is not going away anytime soon. What can you do for the drillers?
Well, let me just say I've been involved in trading markets my entire life, and I never thought we'd see the day where you had oil trade at gigantic negative numbers. That was quite a thing to see. This is the classic supply-demand imbalance. And because oil is a physical commodity where you need to take delivery, one of the things we've obviously seen is all the storage capacity is literally disappeared. Everything's filled. So if anybody had storage capacity, effectively there was a free arbitrage. You could get paid to take the oil, sell oil in the future, and lock in a giant gain. So obviously what's going to happen is the producers are going to stop producing. In many cases, that will bring the supply-demand back in line. That's why you see in the forward curve the price of oil is higher. And one of the things that the president has instructed me and the Secretary of Energy to look at is we want to remain energy independent. What can we do to support our energy business? Because obviously in the short term, a lot of these companies are going to have issues. A lot of these companies need to shut down production. But the president is determined, and we're looking at different plans to support them.
You think we might get to $30 a barrel oil by August?
I think we will. And again, if you look at the forward curves, you know, oil is trading a lot higher in the forward markets.
Mr. Secretary, thank you very much indeed for taking time to be with us today, sir. We understand you're very busy, but we appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you. Great to be with you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. We'll see you again soon.
Bye.